You're gonna love this new tool. It's not out here in the garage, it is on the computer. Let's check it out. All you've got to do to access the tool is point your web browser to boxbuilder.DIYAudioguide.com or hit the link down in the video description. Or you can find it on the website DIYAudioguide.com. Just go to the menu at the top and choose Box Builder. What you will notice first of all is this is beta version 1.0. It's been sitting on my website for a couple of weeks now, and I've been actively soliciting feedback from users. All you have to do is hit Get Started, and this is where the magic really starts to happen. You get a subwoofer selection screen. At the time of filming, I've compiled a new, fresh, up-to-date database with over 50 brands and over 1,300 subwoofers. You can either search by brand or model if you know what you're looking for, or you can filter. I like to filter, and when you filter, you can see all of the brands, and it's not every brand by any means, but it is a lot of brands. For our example, I'm going to go with Alpine because it's just the first one in alphabetical order. I can then sort by size. Maybe I want to do a big 12. I can sort by shape, and that's really for those who want a square kicker sub. And I can select the number of voice coils, and there's a little information tag right here. If you don't know about voice coils, that'll take you to some information that will guide you as to what you should pick. I'm going to pick 2 voice coils, 4 ohms, so I can wire everything in parallel to get a 1 ohm load at my amplifier. I can also filter for shallow mount subwoofers. If you check the shallow mount box, it'll only return subwoofers that are no deeper than 4 inches. Then you can pick the model. I'm going to choose a Type R, and I'm going to choose 2 subwoofers. And it will pop up an image. And what I've done here is I've tied the number of images to the number of subwoofers you select so that you can visually see how many you've picked so that you don't pick the wrong number. And then right down here, I have some important little buttons where you can check prices in various sources, or if you want to make sure you've picked out the right model number, you can click verify this subwoofer. That'll take you to an online retailer where you can make sure you've picked out the right model number. And if the subwoofer you're not looking for is not in the database, you can click right here to add your own subwoofer to the database. If you add a file, it's going to go to a review database. I'm going to give it a look before I release it out into the wild. And then you hit next, and that's where the magic happens. This is simulate and tune. This is where I've replicated the functionality from WinISD. You don't have to simulate and tune. If you already know what kind of box you want to build, you can just skip it. And if you don't know how to simulate and tune, there's a helpful little YouTube video right here titled How to Simulate and Tune. That'll give you everything you need to know to operate the simulator. I'm going to give you a quick overview of the simulate and tune. The first thing you can do is pick your box type, ported or sealed. I plan to roll out bandpass enclosures and passive radiator enclosures in the next major update. I'm going to choose a ported box. I'm going to hit simulate and tune. All you do now is choose your box size. I'm going to scroll up a little bit so we can see the graph. I'm going to adjust the box size slider up. This is a pair of 12, so I think somewhere between 3 and 5 cubic feet. Let's go for about 4. And as you can see, as I increase the size of the box, it changes this transfer function here. So I'm going to drop that down to about 4 cubic feet. And I'm going to slide this down to 34 hertz. And that is a nice profile. Hit next, and this is an important screen. This is going to tell us about our port airspeed velocity. In order to reduce the chuffing, you want to get that velocity below about 17 meters per second, and you do that by increasing the port area. So let's kick that port area up. Let's go to 80. If we scroll down a little bit further, it's going to show us our cone excursion. This is telling us that anything below about 25 hertz, we will exceed the subwoofer's X-max. We might want to consider an infrasonic filter on our amplifier. If we're happy with what we see, we hit next, and we get a summary. It's going to give us our F3. It's going to give us our gain and our peak SPL, as well as our airspeed velocity and our port length. If we scroll down further, it's going to show those charts again so we can review them. You click next and you move on. Now I know I went through that really quick, and the reason I went through it really quick is because it's really easy to use. Ease of use was my #1 design principle as I was building out this tool. You see, WinISD is a great program. It's been the standard for over 15 years, but WinISD has a couple of big problems. One, it's got a pretty steep learning curve. Most of that learning curve is really due to the fact that the driver database is out of date. So you can't just pick out your driver and start modeling your subwoofer box. You're stuck entering TS parameters. If you've ever used WinISD, you know the text is tiny, it's hard to read, and that causes mistakes when entering those TS parameters. And WinISD doesn't work on a Mac or on your phone. My tool is browser-based and designed to be mobile-friendly, so you can access it from any web browser anywhere. And like WinISD, it is free to use. We have 4 options for a type of port. We have 2 slot ports, a front firing slot port and a side firing slot port. or we can do round ports or flared, aka arrow ports. I'm going to do a sub forward port forward. I'm going to check the double baffle button because I like doubling up on the baffle, and I'm going to hit next. What this tool does that WinISD does not do is after you finish simulating and tuning, it kicks you a tool that's designed to guide you through the process of designing a subwoofer box. You just follow it step by step and it will give you your plans. Right here it shows you the outside diameter of the subwoofer. That's to remind you that you need room for these two subwoofers on the front face of the box. Plus you got to have room for the port, so make sure that you go ahead and pick a width that's going to give you plenty of room by default. 30 inches might be a good place to start, and as far as the height goes, anything above 14 will probably get the job done. Let's go with 15. Scroll down a little bit further, and most of this information was pre-filled from Simulate and Tune. You have the option once again of adjusting that port area if you want to, and you can adjust the displacement of the subwoofers. For manufacturers that publish a subwoofer displacement, that's how much room the subwoofer takes up inside the box. That information will populate here. Then you have the option of choosing a cut plan. You can use what I call the basic cut plan, which does not require a router, or the advanced cut plan. That advanced plan is going to require you to route out the port opening with a router. So if you don't have a router, choose the basic plans. Then we hit calculate. What's going to happen now is behind the scenes, the program is going to look at your material thickness, look at the width and height of your port. It's going to solve for your port length, and then it's going to add that to the box so that the plans will already account for the net airspace of 4 cubic feet, the volume taken up by the subwoofer, the volume taken up by the port and the material used to make the port wall, plus the volume taken up by your brace and 4 corner 45s. So all of the hard math of trying to fold that port inside of the enclosure, the calculator is going to take care of that for you. And then we hit next and we wait while it grinds away in the background. It'll take just a few seconds to do the math. And we have a problem, and it's not really a problem, it's more of a guardrail. This tool was designed to make sure that you won't inadvertently create plans for a box that is impossible to build. This error right here basically means that the enclosure needs to be a little bit wider. It's an easy fix. I'm going to hit the back button, and I'm going to go back and I'm going to bump the enclosure width up to 32 inches. Hit next and see what happens. Still not enough. Let's go up to 34 inches. There we go. That got the job done. Now, why in the world do we need such a wide box? Because we ended up with a 6-inch wide port. So that 6-inch wide port is taking up a whole lot of space on the front of the box. If you don't like that, you can just start over again. It's no big deal. Here is what is one of my favorite features of the calculator. If you scroll down, you get a nice 3D view of what is going on with your box. So we have the front view here with the subwoofers on the front. We've got your port. We got 2 port walls. We can explode the view. We can switch to the exterior view, and we can rotate it all around to get an idea of how this thing is going to be built and how it's going to look. This next part is very important. It's going to give you a depth. Here, the external depth is 26.75. You have to verify that this box is going to fit in your vehicle. It's 34 inches wide. That's almost 3 feet. It's 15 inches tall, and it's 26.75 inches deep. And if that's not going to fit in your car, stop right here. Go back and make some adjustments. Don't waste money and time cutting and building a box that's not going to fit. If we're happy with what we see, we hit next. And before we move on, I want to show you something right here at the bottom. You can check the price at various locations. I have scoured the web and I have looked for the various places where you can buy these products, and it will show you at least 2 buttons at the bottom where you can check the price and do some comparison shopping. In this example, for this brand, you can check Crutchfield or Amazon. In the interest of full disclosure and compliance with federal law, I have to let you know that these are affiliate links. For those of you who don't understand how this works, everyone with a YouTube channel, affiliate links is how they make their money. Clicking on an affiliate link costs you absolutely nothing, and the revenue from those affiliate links, that's what's paying for this tool. Web hosting isn't free, and if y'all don't click on the affiliate links, I won't be able to afford to keep this page up and ad free. Now we're going to hit next, and we move on to the next screen, and I'm going to ask you for your email. I'm not going to sell your contact information to anybody. The reason we're doing email is because I'm not going to be storing the plans long-term on the server. I'm going to send these plans to you via email so that you've got them and you can save them on your own device. And there is a disclaimer. It's mostly a safety disclaimer. Please don't cut off your fingers when you're cutting out your material. There are three main things in that disclaimer that I want to call your attention to. The first thing is safety. Woodworking is inherently dangerous. Your finger's going to be close to spinning blades. A table saw can kick back and throw wood at you. You can hurt your back lifting heavy things. You can drop heavy things on your feet. Loud power tools can damage your hearing, and of course, loud music can damage your hearing. If you're going to do this kind of thing, you have to understand that you're the one inherently accepting that risk. The second part of the disclaimer is there's no guarantee that your parts are going to fit in the box because the manufacturer data could be wrong. The solution to that is always do a test fit. The third thing to remember is that even though the plans will get you a box, that's no guarantee the box is going to sound good because the system will allow you to design a box that sounds like crap. It's up to you to get the sound you're looking for. I'm currently building out a playlist of instructional videos that will help you do that. Spend a few minutes watching those videos before you cut any wood. It'll save you some grief later. Then you just click on email my blueprints and wait. While you're waiting, here is a little shopping list for you. You'll need an amplifier, you'll need speaker wire, you'll need a terminal cup or some binding post. I really like these binding posts right here. You'll need some carpet if you want to carpet your box or something like Duratex to coat your box. You absolutely will need some wood glue. This is every discount code that I have available to my audience. Pretty much anywhere you go to, you can type in DIYAudio at checkout and save a little bit of money on your purchases. Down at the very bottom of the screen is my tool guide if you would like to watch that to learn about what tools you need to build your subwoofer box. Here's what the plans look like. The very first page of the plans is going to give you an overview of the enclosure, and the next page is going to show you the front of the box and show you the dimensions for all the pieces on the front of the box. The second page is going to show you the baffle. It's going to show you a recommended layout for your subwoofers. The key word here is recommended. You can put the subwoofers anywhere you want on the baffle. Before you start cutting the holes, you need to figure out what kind of brace you're going to use and make sure the brace doesn't interfere with the subwoofer. More on the bracing in just a little bit. As you scroll down, it'll show you the sides, the top, the bottom, and the back. The very last big plan overview is looking down from the top, exposing the port layout. In this example, we've got an L-shaped port. Look very closely at the way port wall 1 and port wall 2 go together. This is designed specifically so that you can take a brace that's the exact same size as port wall number 1 and use it as not only a brace, but also a way for making sure port wall 2 is going to be square to the front of the box. At the end of the plans, there's going to be a page that's going to show you different bracing alternatives. You'll need to use your own discretion as to what type of brace that you want to use. If you want to put corner 45s in all the corners, it's not shown on the plans, but you're welcome to do that. You've got plenty of airspace to make that happen. Those corner 45s don't take up a lot of space. Another key feature of the plans, you'll notice everything is in 1/4 inch increments. That was deliberate. You might, for example, put your information in a port calculator and it might tell you need a 15.83 inch long port. Well, what the heck is 0.83 inches? I don't know, but I do know I can round that up to 16 inches. It will have virtually no impact on the final outcome. Give it a try. Let me know if something seems broken. I'll try to fix it. To learn more about building subwoofer boxes, click on this playlist right up here. Before I go, I want to say thank you to all of my patrons with a big bonus shout out to $25 and up patrons Jeff, Brian, Bo, and B. Hutch. I'm Justin. This is the DIY Audio Guy YouTube channel, and I will see you on the next adventure.